Hi, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to learn how to go through and cut all the joints for our interior walls. And we're going to see that there's two main types of joints. There's these that intersect the wall like this, where a wall goes into a longer wall, into the middle. And there's another one that goes out into the corner. Well, these two joints happen to be cut the exact same way. The one that's cut weird is when there's a wall that totally passes through another wall. See how these two walls are 90 degrees and make like a little plus sign? Well, that joint has to be different because we can't just stick notches into the end, right? So we have to cut a joint in the middle of the wood, and I'll show you how to do that. So again, this one that comes in the middle right here, this joint is the same as that joint. And I'll show you how to do that one first because many of you may not even have this kind of joint in your model. All right, so let's get down to it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut a joint in this wall, because this wall intersects with the side one. So we're going to cut like fingers into the left and right side of this wall, and then we'll use those fingers to do a combine and cut away holes in this one and this one. Let's see what it looks like. So we click here and we click. So the first thing you do is figure out which wall you want to cut first. I'm cutting this one. So I'm going to cut on this one. Now it's really confusing what's going on here. So I'm going to figure out what wall this is just by going on that. Notice how on the side it says it's wall 2. So I'm going to turn everything but wall 2 off. So I don't need to see any of this other stuff, especially the base. And I'm going to get rid of wall 3 and this one, wall 8. And now when I click back, I'll just be able to see wall 2 really clearly. Like that's wall 2 right there. Although if I want, I'm going to go ahead and turn everything else off. Wall 2 stays on. I just really like to have, it's worth the extra couple seconds of clicking to be able to just see what I'm working with. So now I'm going to zoom in on this wall. So remember, I'm going to cut fingers into the left side and the right side. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click. Now I know there's 2 centimeters of height of wall above the base. And that's what I'm worried about. Above the base is where I want to cut stuff. So I'm going to come here, and to make 2 centimeters, I'm going to make 2 tabs. So it's going to be a half tab at the top, a full tab, an opening, another tab, and then a half tab cut away. So to do that, I'm just going to say, to get the 2, I'm going to go 1/4 centimeter, half centimeter, half centimeter, 1/4 centimeter. And that'll give me the 2 full centimeters. Let's try it. So 0.25 here. Although if you use a different number, it doesn't matter. All that has to be true is that dimension has to be thickness. You gotta get that one right. The rest you can do whatever size you want. You could do 1 big tab, right? There's that one. And then I'm gonna do another box on this wall. I don't really care where I did it at. I just did it somewhere. I'll position it in a second. And I'm gonna make it 0.5. Hit enter. And now the distance between those 2 boxes should be another 0.5, because that's going to be the wood. Where I'm drawing the boxes is where I'm going to have the holes. So that'll be a cutaway hole, wood, cutaway hole, and then wood again. So this needs to be another, and then down here should be another 0.25, just like that one. So I'm going to cut in here, and I'm going to do, that should be thickness. Nope, that should not be thickness. That should be 0.25. Tab, that should be thickness, enter. Oop, right there. And I'm going to dimension between these 2, and I'm going to say that should be 0.5 as well. So I've got 0.25, 0.5 for the wood, 0.5 for the opening, 0.5 for the wood, 0.25 for an opening. And then all of this material is in the base. It's underneath the surface. So I don't worry about any of that right now. And I'm just going to click. So that's all good, and that's perfectly done. So now I'm just going to mirror it to the other side. So I'm going to grab here. I'm going to hit a construction line. I'm going to find my center. You don't have to mirror it. If you think it's easier and faster just to draw the 3 rectangles over here, you can do that too. Let's say I'm good with that. I'm going to use the mirror tool, and I'm going to highlight that one. Just the bare minimum. So I need these 3. I need those 2, and then these 3. So that should be 3, 6, 7, 8 things, 8 things. And then I'm going to ask me what mirror line. That's what you're going to mirror it across. And I'm going to say, oh, that doesn't feel right. One of these feels wrong. Yeah, right there. Oof. I can tell over here, this one looks wider than those two, so something was wrong, and there's that wrong number right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click OK, let it mirror. And then when I go back and I change this one should be thickness. Enter, and now it's right, and yep, and it's updated on this side as well, so everything is perfect. Now I'm just going to extrude this. I'm going to click on the ones I want to cut out, and I'm going to say, I'm going to push it in that direction all the way through, and then I'm going to say don't go that far, just go all the way through, and then click OK. Those are the finger joints that are going to go into the other two side walls. Now I need to do, this is the bottom of the piece, so I need to cut some fingers into the bottom. On the bottom joint, I recommend cutting away the two outsides and having your tab start inside. So it should be cut away and then tab. And it doesn't matter how big they are. Like it's in the scalable box, we do a lot of work to get them just right so that when we scaled the box, they would do the right thing. But on this one, we're not going to scale this. So make it whatever size you want. In fact, it might be good to change them so that the pattern on the base, when you're going to put it together, is only for that one wall. Like no other wall will fit there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start here in the corner. I'm going to drag over, make sure that side says thickness, and then down here I'm going to do 1 centimeter. I don't know. Maybe that's good. Maybe that's not. And then I'm just going to copy and paste this. So I need to grab all 3 sides this time. And to grab all 3 sides, I've got to hold down Shift while I'm clicking. That allows me to select multiple things. Then I'm going to hit M for move. And on the move window, I'm going to hit create a copy. And what that did is just made another copy and put it right on top of the old one. And I'm just going to drag it. Oops, see how I grabbed that circle? Now I can drag it anywhere. I don't want that. So I'm going to hit cancel here. Hold down Shift, highlight those 3 things again. I don't want that dot. I want those 3 lines. Okay, got them now. And I'm going to do move. I'm going to say create a copy. And I'm going to drag it sideways. And I don't know, about like, oh, you know it's better than this? Let's not do it that way. Sorry. Let's just create a rectangular pattern because then we can make all of them at once. So rectangular pattern. I'm going to click on all 3 of these. Oh, that stupid little window's in the way. There it is. I'll zoom in a little bit. And then I'm just going to drag this over this way because it says to make 3 of them. And I'm going to go, see how there's a little bit left there? I'm going to go a little bit over all the time. And one thing you could do, what it's doing is it's snapping to those grid lines. If I zoom in here, see how I'll suddenly get more little grid lines inside there? Like right there, they're gone. Now I can see them. I can move this over. Now it'll snap to those grid lines better. All right. So there's that. Now what I can do is 3 tabs. That's only going to give me 2 tabs in the bottom because this is going to be cut out, cut out, cut out. So I'm going to increase this to 4, see what it looks like. That looks better to me. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 cutouts there. So I'm going to say, yeah, that looks good. Just make sure that it's, yep, it's over. It's got to be at least over because I'm going to cut all that wood away. And then I'm just going to hit OK. Like I don't really care about what it is. Like it could be a little wonky and weird. Doesn't matter. I'm going to extrude. I'm going to click that one, that one, that one, and that one. I'm going to tip it so I can see the arrow, pull it all the way through, and then just say, nope, not that far, just all the way through perfectly. And yep, and then I'm going to click OK for cut. And now I have my piece. So now I'm going to bring everything back on and take a look. I'm going to head back out to home. And I've got that one cut. Now I need to cut this one, but check it out. I can go ahead and do this corner based on the joint I just cut. So what I'm going to do, well, that's pivoting really weird. Okay, I don't know why it's going sideways like that. My arm's not working right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say use my combine tool. And I'm going to say what I want to do, my target body, I want to cut this wall with, I'm going to do a cut with this wall. and then I'm going to keep my tool. Otherwise, it'll delete the red wall for me. And then I'm going to click OK. And now if I hold down here, you can see I now just cut the two little notches in that the fingers go into. So that one's almost done. This wall still needs something on the bottom to fix it into the base. So let's do that next. So we're going to create a sketch. I'm going to click here. And I'm going to hide everything. Whoops, I should figure out which one that was before I did that. I think that's, if I look at my drawing, actually, I know for my drawing, I know which one it is. It's wall. Oh, wait, which was my drawing going? It's this one. So it is wall 3. Yeah. So everything but 3 goes away. So it's good to keep track of which wall you're on so you're not having to figure it out later. Although if I just hovered over it, it would show me wall 3 too, right? Okay. So now I'm going to create a, ooh, I'm already on the sketch on there. So I just need to create, remember the side one is just a flat wall, so I'm leaving that alone. That one's already been cut. I'm just doing the bottom now. And again, I'm just going to put a box in here. I'm going to make sure tab over there, the thickness goes in there. And then I'm going to go like, I think, I don't know, it looks like 0.5 might be good. Whoops, nope, that should be thickness. Tab, I'm going to try 0.5, hit OK. And then I'm just going to do a quick rectangular pattern. And I'm going to highlight these 3 things, drag it over. So it just barely goes off, right? I want to make sure I'm cutting it all the way. And that looks pretty good to me. That'll give me 2 tabs. So I'm going to say OK. And again, it doesn't really matter where they are. Like no one will see these joints. It's just a matter of getting them cut. So I'm going to pull that through. And it might even be good to try to use something weird every time. So maybe on my next small one like this, I do a 0.6. That way I know that only this one will fit into that base at that point, kind of a thing. And then that one's done, and I'm going to say, turn them all back on. So these 2 are totally done. I can look at them and see, okay, I can see tabs on the bottom and tabs on the right. So that wall is done. And this one, why is this thing messing with me so much? It's kicking my butt. So this one, I see tabs on the side, tabs on the right, or the bottom and the left. Here I see them on the right, left, and bottom, so they're all done. Now this one, notice how I don't see holes here. I haven't cut this one with that one yet. So I'll need to do that as well. I'll also need to make sure to cut all the outside. Anywhere this hits the outside edge, I need to cut fingers into that so I can join them with my outside wall later. So on this one here and this one here, I'll need to cut on that edge as well. All right, let me show you one more of these. I'm going to show you this really long one here. And what I'm going to do is put fingers on the left and right side of that and on the bottom. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to click on this wall. And let me find out what wall that is. I should have figured out before I did it. Wall 1. Okay. So I'm going to turn everyone else off but wall 1. And now I have my sketch done. And now on the left side, I'm going to cut fingers. On the right side, I'm going to cut fingers. So let's do it. So I'm going to zoom in here on the left. And I'm going to draw that little. So that one should be 0.25. This one should be thickness. But again, you could make yours different if you wanted to. I'm just showing you a quick and easy way of doing it. And then here I'm going to do another rectangle. Thickness there. Whoops. Thickness there. And 0.5 there. I'm going to dimension that from here to here. And that should be a 0.5. And then I'm going to do another one, little half one down here. So that's 0.25, tab, thickness, enter. And then I'm going to dimension from this one to this one should be 0.5. And that's that. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can find the midpoint. I'm going to grab construction line. The midpoint should be Why can't I find the midpoint? Should be around there somewhere. There it is. Boom, right there. Okay. And now I'm going to do a mirror tool. I'm going to click on that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. And then my mirror line is that one. And I have them, whoops, missed one. I'm going to come back up here, see it says 7 selected. I'm going to come back here and just click on that one. And instantly it goes over there. So I'm going to click OK, and everything is mirrored. And now I'm going to extrude. I'm going to choose that one, that one, that one, that one. Pull it all the way through and say not that far, just go all the way, click OK. And now I just got to do the bottom. So I'm going to click back on the right there. And I'm going to create a sketch on that face, make a rectangle here, and that's going to be thickness, tab. And this one I'm going to do is 1 again, and it's just going to make a whole bunch of them. And now I'm going to do create a rectangular pattern, and then I'm going to do it, let's see, that one, and that one. I don't think I got the right thing. No, so I got that dot there. I don't want that dot. I want that instead. I've got 4 things. I'm going to just get rid of those 4 things and redo it just for the right 3 things. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so, yep. I'm going to drag it over. Find a good ending point. You know, that looked really good right there. Maybe I wouldn't want to, you don't have to waste your time zooming in to try and get it as close as possible. I just did, but you don't have to do that. And now this would be goofy if I had like huge piece of wood and a huge slot cut in my base. It would actually weaken my base too. So I'm going to up this quite a bit so I can get reasonable sized. Yeah, like something like that. Awesome. And then I'm going to say, okay, it's going to sketch that for me, and I'm going to extrude that real quick. That's going to go away. Oops, not that one. I'm going to rotate it so I can see the extrusion. Say just go all the way through, cut operation, and click OK. Now there's that one. Awesome. So I'm going to bring the walls back. And actually right here, when I bring wall 2 back, watch this. You can see that all those are cut out on the left, right, and bottom, but there's no openings here for this. So I'm going to do that right now while I just see these 2. I'm going to use the combine tool. I'm going to say use, nope, that's not right. I'm going to say, I just put the wrong target body. I'm going to say target this, so cut this, and the tools that we're going to cut it with is this one. We're going to cut with that one. Now you can see a hole there, and keep tool and click OK. Now here's the difference. When I hover over it, notice how now it has those kind of squared out. That dark gray you see in the middle of that rectangle is the other wall poking through the face. So there's that one's cut now. This piece is fully cut at this point. So here's the hard part in doing this, is getting them all fully cut. Because if you forget to cut one of the pieces, obviously it's not going to fit with the pieces around it. There won't be a hole, and it won't be easy to see. You've got to go from each piece to each piece, checking, okay, left side done, right side's done, bottom, holes are done. Now, next thing I would do is use the combine tool to cut the joints in this piece right here with that piece. So I do a combine tool. I would say that's my target body, that's my tool body, and I'd cut the joints. And then I would cut finger joints in the edge of this one and in the bottom of this one as well. So every wall needs joints cut in the bottom for sure. Okay, so that's those 2 types of corners. At this point, if you don't have a wall passing through another wall like this, you can go ahead and move on, or you can stay and watch how I do that real quick. It's kind of clever. But otherwise, you can just move on and start cutting all your corners and bottoms of the interior walls. And that's where this video will end, so you'll need to watch the rest of it. The next video will go into how to create the exterior walls and cut joints into the base that fit to the exterior walls. But that'll be the next video. So if you're ready to rock and roll, rock and roll. All right. Now for this joint where we have 2 walls that fully overlap each other. We can't use this finger approach because we won't be able to obviously we'd have to cut the fingers all the way out to here, and that would look really goofy and weird. So let's do this one next. I'm going to start with the shorter wall, although you don't have to. And I'm going to create, let me find what wall it is. So I have wall 8 here, and this is wall 5. So I'm working with 8 and 5 right now. So I'm going to create a sketch here on wall 8. And I won't know on my sketch well where wall 5 goes through my sketch. So what I'm going to do is do a projection. So project, I'm going to project this face onto my wall. So right there, now you can see, now I see where the wall goes through, and I'm going to click OK. At that point, I'm going to get rid of wall 8, or wall 5, I should say. And I'm going to just leave wall 8 on. Okay, now I know that I have a wall coming right through here. What we're going to do is we're going to create slots. So a slot halfway down one and halfway down the other, and then they're going to slide together like this. So we're going to start by creating a slot in the bottom half of one and then cut the other one with it. So what do I mean by that? So I'm going to come here and I'm going to draw a rectangle on here, wherever, it doesn't matter. As long as this one side, oops, I just escaped out instead of enter. What I want to make sure is this top, the width of it is thickness. Right? And then I'm going to go and hit enter. Doesn't matter how long it is. Now I'm going to center it up. I know I've got 2 centimeters above the floor of wall space. So I'm going to do a half, or 1 centimeter, half of it, as a slot. And then on the other piece of wood, it'll be the other one that's a slot wood. Let me show you what I mean. So to do this, I'm going to dimension from the very top to here, and I'm going to call that 1 centimeter. So in this piece, this is going to be, the bottom half is going to get cut away, and the top half will remain wood. On the other piece, the bottom half will remain wood, and the top half will be cut away, and they'll slide together like that. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dimension, I'm going to do a rule. I'm going to say collinear here, which means they're on the same line, right? So they're in line with each other. So I'm going to be here, and this one, I want to be on the same line with each other. So now they're all the way down. I'm going to cut this piece out. So I'm going to do an extrusion. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to pull it through and say just all the way, and then I'm going to click OK. So you can see that's this piece, right? So it's solid on top with a slot in the bottom, and now the other piece needs to be slot on top, solid on the bottom. So here's how I create that one. So I'm going to turn on wall 5 again. Remember, we cut this one already, so we need to cut this one with this one. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to say we're using the combine tool. Our target body is the one we want to cut. We want to cut this one. And our target body, or our tool body, is this one. We want to keep the tool and make sure it says cut, and then we're going to click OK. And now when I look at it, see how I've cut that little slot there, and I've cut that slot there. I'm going to do a quick move tool so you can see it. When I bring this one up, see how they're now going together like this, and they'll fit together perfectly. What you have to make sure is that the one that has the slot on bottom is cut all the way through. This slot is actually a little bit longer than this slot is because it has to pass through the whole piece of wood. Now for the other 2 sides, I would still cut whatever edges I need to cut in. So let's say this one had another wall to it. Let's see, I don't think this one does. Yeah, it does actually. Let me turn them back on so I can show you what I mean by that. No, it doesn't. So if there was another wall sticking off here, I'd still go in and cut the 2 sides the same as I normally would, and the bottom still need to be cut. But that was just how to get those 2 walls joined together, because you can't use a finger joint in the middle of a piece of wood. Awesome. So now just keep rolling. Like I'm going to keep rolling. And I actually added this little piece of wall so I could show you that crossover wall. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a second here, and I'm going to delete this extra wall that I made a second ago. So to do that, I'm going to just go backwards with all my extrusions and figure out, there it is. That's the extrusion I used to make that piece. So I'm going to just go here and just say delete this extrusion. And then I'm going to come back here, and I don't need to have that, the combine tool anymore. So I'm going to delete that extra combine I did. And then I'm going to delete this extrusion as well. I don't need that one. That made that joint. I don't need that sketch. And that brought me back to just a flat wall there. So I was able to go back and delete it back to where it was to start with. All right, now I'm going to move forward on mine. If you're still watching this, that means that you're probably trying to model the same maze I'm modeling, which is totally fine, but probably more fun if you do your own. I've completed this wall, and that wall, and now I need to just continue on. So I'm actually going to make, why can't I make this work? I'm going to make this wall next. And that wall is wall 4. Create my sketch on wall 4 and turn off all the other walls. Now, actually, what does wall 4 need? So wall 4, oh, I totally lost track of what I was doing. Wall 4 is around wall 1. Let me turn wall 1 back on and see what's going on with that one. Wall 1 and 6, 7. Oh, that's 4. So wall 5 and 1. Okay, so actually before I go into the sketch here, so I'm going to cancel out this last sketch. Control Z, this last sketch. Oh, there's just some problem wrong here. I'll have to go look at why this combine tool is messed up now. When it's red, like when I deleted something, something was messed up. That combine tool needed that other thing, so I'll figure out what it is in a second. But before I actually make this sketch, I'm going to say finish sketch. So I'm going to delete this sketch real quick. Before I make a sketch here, I'm going to cut this wall first. So I'm going to go combine, and I'm going to say my target body, the thing I'm going to cut, my tool body, the thing I'm going to cut with, and I'm going to say OK. And now I've cut that one. So I just need to cut along the bottom, and wall 5 is the other side of it. I need to cut fingers on this side, and then fingers on the bottom. So the right and bottom where I need to cut my finger joints. So 5 and 1 go away. Now I'm going to create a sketch. All right, I'm going to start with the bottom first. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to make sure that says thickness. Yep. And then tab, this one I'm going to do is, I don't know, 0.9. I want to do it a little different every time. And then I'm going to just do a rectangular pattern. And I'm going to zoom in so I can see stuff. That one, that one, that one. And then, no, maybe not. Let me see. Yeah, that's perfect. Just like that. And then I'm going to up this. This is too big a tab. I'm going to up this 2 more. Yeah, 5. That sounds good. And then I'm going to hit, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to extrude those. Rotate around so I can see them. Bring them out all the way through. Cut. Okay. Now I need to cut these over here. I'm going to cut fingers into these guys. So I'm going to click back on my back. And then, oops. Yep, create a sketch right there on the face. And then I'm going to have a rectangle. This is my 0.25 one now. 0.25. Thickness. Enter. Do another one. That is, that top one should be thickness. And this one should be 0.5. Enter. And then one more. And I know that one more is going to go to that corner. Oh, I'll make it go there anyway. I was going to do it on the corner I just missed when I clicked. And this is going to be 0.25. And now I'm going to dimension everything. So I'm going to dimension between here and here is 0.5. And again, you don't have to do this. The nice thing about doing this one the same each time is because people will be able to see these joints. If they're nice and consistent, they'll probably look better. Although if you want something that looks kind of funky, that's cool too. And then I'm going to tip it and extrude it out that way. And then I'm going to do an operation cut and just say all the way through, no extra. Boom. Now notice how this one, because this one was cut from the other thing, it's the opposite. So wherever there's wood here, there's a hole there. That's not a problem. It'll look totally fine. All right, now I'm going to go back, turn everything back on, and figure out what wall I'm doing next. All right, hit the home button. So I just finished cutting that one. Yep, it's got joints on the right, the bottom, and the left, so that's all good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the holes in this wall using this one. So I'm going to use the combine tool. I'm going to say our target is this one, and we want to cut with that one. And keep tools, okay. Now I just cut, you can see where the little white squares are in there now. I just cut the holes, so that's perfect for that. And other than that, I need to, well, you know what? I need to actually cut this one next because I want to cut the holes in this wall and do that combine again before I move on. So, yep, so I'll do this one next. Wall 6 is what I'm looking for. And wall 6 needs joints on the left, right, and bottom. So fingers left, right, and bottom. Everything else goes away for me. You don't have to make everything else go away, but it's just a lot easier to see what's going on, I think, when you do. So there's my face. So I need left, right, and bottom for joints. And my next one is going to be 0.5 thickness, enter, and then one more that is in the middle somewhere here, which is thickness, enter, tab, 0.25, enter, and now dimension these things out. So I'm going to put this one at 0.5, this one at 0.5. Okay, and I know that works really well, so now I'm going to take this, I'm going to go to the center point there. Do a mirror tool. I need this one, 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 this one. So I should have 8 objects. I do. Select the mirror line, that one. Okay, extrude, cut all of those. And I'm going to tip it, run it through all the way. Okay. Go back to the front view, create another sketch. This one goes down here. And 1 centimeter looks pretty good. So I'm going to use thickness there, of course. And then tab, I think I'm going to stick with 1 centimeter and see what it looks like. And I'm just going to do a rectangular pattern. And I'm going to click this one, that one, drag it over a little bit past there. And now I'm going to up this to 4. Nah, I don't know if I like that. I'm going to come back here. Let's see if I can just do this. I'm going to click OK at 4, but I'm going to make each one of these a little smaller. So I'm going to try this and say, can I do this at 0.75? I can, but it left a little extra here. So what I can do then is, this is the rectangular pattern. See that little designation there? If I come in here and I double click on it, it'll bring that window back up. So what I want to do is then grab this and just drag it over a tiny bit and then click OK. And that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to do an extrusion. I'm going to get, extrusion. Get rid of all 4 of those, tip it, run it through all the way, okay. And now I'm going to bring it back on. So that one's done. So I'm going to bring back everybody. see what I can cut so far. That was that one I just cut. So I can cut the side of this one and the wall of this one. So I'm going to say combine. I'm going to target that with this, keep the tool, and OK. And then I'm going to do combine, and I'm going to target this with that, and I'm going to say OK. And now, before I forget this one, I'm going to cut the bottom joints into this one. So I'm going to click, make sure I got, so wall 7 is the one I want to keep. Everybody else gets hidden. And then I zoom in here and start doing the same thing. I'm going to do a short one, so maybe a 0.4. And that's going to be a thickness. And then enter. And I'm going to create a rectangular pattern. I'm going to select that wall, and that wall. And I'm going to roll it over to there. That looks pretty good to me. I think that's like a pretty good amount. So I'm going to just say OK. And I'm going to extrude those 3. There's no reason to spend a ton of time on these tabs. Because these tabs go into the base, you're never going to see these tabs once you get the walls in place. So you don't have to worry about them too much. What I do want to be careful about is creating like really thin tabs anywhere that might snap off easily as I'm assembling. I don't want things breaking off. So I wouldn't want this tab to be like, 0.2 centimeters wide or something weird like that. All right, so that takes care of wall 7. Let's take a look. So wall 7 is totally done, right? The right and the bottom are done. This one's totally done. This one has the holes cut in it for those 2, but I still need to do the tabs on the left side, or yeah, the fingers on the left and right, and along the bottom. So I'll do this wall next, and that's wall 5. So I'm going to create a sketch in the face of wall 5, and then turn everyone else off. And then I'm going to create that sketch in that corner. That should be thickness, and this should be 0.25, and then another one. 0.5, thickness, enter, and another one. This should be 0.25, that one's thickness, enter, and now I'm going to dimension them here to here. And again, the only reason I'm taking time to dimension these really well is because they'll be visible, and I don't want them to be ugly. Enter, and now I'm going to do a quick line in the middle. There it is. Boom. Escape to get out of that tool, and then I'm just going to mirror it. I'm going to zoom back in so I can see. I need that one, that one. 1, 2, 3, that's 5, 6, 7, and 8 objects. I have 8 objects selected. My mirror line is this one, so it mirrors across to that side. And then I'm just going to click OK, and now I'm going to extrude 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to rotate this, extrude it all the way through, and click OK. Now I just got to do the bottom part. So I'm going to create a new sketch on the face. I'm going to come down here with a rectangle tool. I'm going to grab here, and that is going to be the thickness of the wood. And then I'm going to do this one as 1.1 centimeters just to make it a little, whoops, nope, that should be thickness. I'm going to do this one as 1.1 just to make it a little different than the other ones. Or you know what, I'm going to do a little smaller, 0.75, not 0.85. It doesn't matter, I'm just playing around. So create a rectangular pattern. I'm going to zoom in here and choose 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to drag it all the way across, and well, that was perfectly on there. Good. all the way across there like that. And then I need a lot more tabs. Otherwise, I'm going to have 2 huge slots in my base, and I'll make my base really weak. So I'm going to keep going up. This is a super long wall. And I'm trying to get the wood to be about the same, this wood part to be the same as the open part there. I think 10's about pretty good. So I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to extrude all of these. All the way through there, and then just say nope, just all the way, and then click OK. That wall is now done. I'm going to turn all the walls back on and see if I can use that wall to cut any other walls real quick. All right, so I'm going to click the home, and that's the wall I just finished. And yep, I see I can cut the, I don't have the holes here yet because there's no little rectangles around those, and I don't have the holes here yet. So I'm going to go ahead and cut, use the combine tool to cut this one using that one. Okay. And then I'm going to use the combine tool to cut this one using that one. Okay. And now if I hold over them, you can see now there's rectangles around those holes I just cut. Same way with this one, you can see little rectangles where the holes are cut. All right. Now this one doesn't need anything on the 2 edges, but it needs the bottom cut. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one real quick, and that's wall 8. So I'm going to do a sketch on wall 8 right there. I'm just going to hide the base this time. I think that's all I really need. Yeah, I think that's all I really need. So now I'm going to click here, go to the corner of this wall, and then I'm going to go thickness. Whoops. Thickness, enter. And then here is 0.25. Enter. And I'm going to do another one here. And that's going to be 0.5 and thickness. Enter. And then one more towards the bottom down here. And this one's going to be 0.25 and thickness. Enter. And now I'm going to dimension them out real quick. So the here to here is 0.5. Here to here is 0.5. And now this is confusing. See how I can, this like different color, it's like a browny gray, it's like a gray gray. This is a wall that's not on, it's like in the background somewhere. It's one of the other walls. If that's messing with you, you can always just turn all the walls but the one you're working on off, and that works fine too. The next thing I'm going to do is grab a construction line, find the midpoint, and do a mirror tool to mirror to the, there it is. Right there. No, that was wrong. Escape. I'm going to highlight this line, which is wrong, and delete it. I'm going to try that again. So I'm going to grab a tool. I just put it off like all weird angled. Right there. That's the 90-degree mirror line I want. Escape to get out of that tool. I'm going to mirror those. That's 5, 6, 7, 8 things. Yep, 8 things. Select the mirror line. And there they are. Okay. And now I'm going to rotate. I'm going to do a quick extrusion. I'm going to push it through and then just say it all the way. Don't no X. Oh, that's interesting. So that's a problem with having the rest of them turned on, is that when I click all the way, look what it's doing. It's trying to extrude through every object that exists on the screen. So it did all the way through those, right? So I couldn't do 2 object here, and then I would have to just click on the back side so that it knows to go to the back side of that one. See if that worked. Sure didn't seem to like it. So I'm going to get rid of the, well, maybe it did. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it did. Yep, but that did it. So I wouldn't do that. So in the future, I'll just hide everything else so it's not trying to extrude through everything else that exists. So now this one's not quite done. Oh, look how stupid I am. I spent all that time just creating joints where I don't need them. I bet you guys, if somebody's watching this, they're at home going, don't do it, Mr. Hazel, you're screwing it up. So all I'm going to do is come back here and I'm going to say delete that extrusion. I'm going to come back to this one and I'm just going to delete that sketch too, because that sketch has all the little rectangles drawn on it. Now I just need something along the bottom. Man, I'm dumb. All right. I wonder if you guys have ever done something like that. So I'm going to take away all of these except I think it was wall 8 that I was working on. Okay, so now I have just wall 8 on. And then I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to create a, all right, I have a sketch ready to go. So I'm going to start in this corner and work my way across now. And I'm going to do this one as 1.1, tab, thickness, enter, enter, and then a rectangular pattern. You know, I'm going to actually change this because I know I'm going to want this to be, I'm going to hit cancel here. I don't want these to, because this is going to be unsupported on the outside. I want these to be small. So I'm going to do 0.65 here. And now I'm going to do a repeat pattern. Rectangular pattern. And I'm going to choose those 3. I'm going to drag it out. That's good right there. And I'm just going to increase the number until I feel good. I like that around there. I'm going to click OK. Let it finish itself and then extrude here, 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 and here. Rotate. And all the way through it. Okay. Awesome. There's that piece. It's all done. Let's turn the rest of them on, see what else we have to do. We should have several more to go. Yep, that one's all done. I can see the little cutout squares there, right? I can see that one's all done. This one's all done. That's all done. That one's done. That one's done. That one's done. Okay. So now we need to do these other ones. So I'm going to cut this one. This one needs the fingers on the right to go into the outside wall, and on the left and the bottom. So right, left, and bottom on this one. And that is wall 9. So I'm going to turn off everything but wall 9. And I'm going to start with the 2 sides. So I'm going to put a rectangle here that is 0.25 thickness. Enter. Another rectangle here that is 0.5 thickness. Enter. Another one here. Thickness and 0.25. Now I'm going to dimension these. So I'm going to go from here to here. Call that 0.5. And from this one to that one, 0.5. Okay, those are all in now, and now I just need to create a mirror line and mirror this. Right there. Oh, construction line. Here. I mean, technically it doesn't have to be a construction line. So I'm going to choose just that one. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could choose all these other ones. I just don't need to, so I'm not going to. I'm trying to save myself a little bit of time. And then I'm going to hit an extrusion. I'm going to select the 6 that I want. Oops. That I want to extrude. I don't know why that's not working. So I'm just going to get rid of all of them by pushing that X right up here and then reselect them. And I'm going to rotate it. Uh-oh, I just did it again. Yep, I just did it again. Great. There, there, and there. And there. And I'm going to pull it through. Except I'm going to say just all the way through the object and click OK. And everything's happy with that one. I'm going to create one more sketch here for the bottom joint. And I'm going to start here in the corner. And tab, I'm going to do 0.75. And thickness, enter, create a rectangular pattern, choose these three things, not that corner, although it doesn't matter if I created that corner, it would be just fine. Drag it all the way out to where it just barely overlaps like that, and then let's increase the number of tabs. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Click OK. And then I'm going to extrude, getting rid of all of this material, push it through a little bit, say all the way through, OK. Now I'm going to turn everything back on and see where I am and figure out where to go from here. So wall 10, I think, is what I'm going to do next. Back to home. So that one's fully cut. The outside wall is cut. The bottom and the left is cut. I'm going to do a combine tool to cut this right side real quick. So combine. I'm going to cut this one using that one. Keep tools is checked. I'm going to click OK. And now that right side's cut. So I just need to cut just the bottom here. Let's see if I can actually remember that. And that's wall number 10. So click there and turn off everything but wall 10 and then just cut the bottom. There it is. And this time I'm going to start on this right side and in that corner right there. Not that it matters. I don't know, 0.67. I don't know, some random number. I like it. And then I'm going to do create a rectangular pattern. I'm going to click on the three sides. Whoops, I didn't do it. Create rectangular pattern. There it goes. And that side for a total of three things. Drag it this way instead. That's not quite enough, so I'm going to go just a little bit over like that. Doesn't really matter. And then that looks pretty good. That's a pretty good sized piece of wood going through. And then I'm going to click OK. And now I'm going to extrude this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. This one. And I'm going to push them through all the way through and click OK. That one should be done now. I'm going to turn on the rest of them and make sure I don't need to use it for anything else. Okay, so that one's cut left, right, and bottom. This one's right and bottom is cut and ready to go. This one's cut. So I just need this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Awesome. So I'm going to rotate. Ooh, I'm going to rotate around this way. Oh, no, I want to be around that other way. This one. I'm going to cut this one next. So this one needs it on the left. No. You know what? Because this one goes on, has joints on both sides, I'm going to cut it first and then use it to cut these two. That'll be faster and it will look better. So I'm going to go in here and cut this one next. So I'm going to create a sketch, and that is wall 12. So I'm going to turn off everyone else. I'm going to zoom in on it, and I'm going to create those rectangles. So this one's 0.25 thickness. Whoops, I didn't do it right. If it ever messes up, I can just click on it when I'm done and change it. Enter, enter, now it's right. And here, this one should be 0.5, this one should be thickness. And then down here, this one should be 0.25, thickness, enter, enter. And then I'm going to dimension them apart. Here to here, this should be 0.5. Here to here should be 0.5. Now I'm going to create a quick mirror tool, come up here to the middle. And this one I'm going to use just a regular line. I don't actually need a construction line here. I mean, it's fine if you do, it's fine if you don't. And then I'm just going to create a mirror here, here. And I'm going to say 8 things selected. That looks just right. Click that one. It came over just right. So I'm going to say, okay. Good job mirroring. Extrusion. I'm going to extrude out these 6 holes. Pull them all the way through. Okay. Oof. Now I got to cut the bottom. So in this bottom, I'm going to do 2 small tabs. So I'm going to create a new sketch on it. And I'm going to start that sketch right there. Call it thickness, tab, and call this 0.4. Enter. And I'm going to do a rectangular pattern. This one, this one. The nice thing about doing a rectangular pattern is it spaces them out for you instantly really well. So I'm going to zoom in because this is so small and try and get it, yeah, right on the corner there. That's going to look better. And so that's the 2 tabs. I'm okay with that. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to extrude this one, and this one. Tip it, push it out there. And then I'm going to say this one should be all the way through. Okay, done. Let's turn these all back on now. All right, I'm going to go back out. This is the one I just finished cutting, so I'm going to use this one to cut this, the side of this one and the corner of this one. So I'm going to say combine tool. I'm going to say I want to cut this one using that one. Okay. And then next I want to do the combine tool. I'm going to cut this one using that one. Okay. And then I'm going to finish cutting this one. It just needs a joint on the bottom now because the right should be, I don't know why this thing, today I cannot make this thing rotate worth anything. Look how crazy that gets right away. I'm going to rotate it up, and now I'm going to try and rotate it around. That's a little bit better. My hands are just not working well. So on this one, I'm going to cut just the bottom of this one. So I'm going to click here. Oh, I didn't see which one that one was. Wall 11 is what I'm trying to cut right now. Go back to the back, and I'm going to turn off everything but wall 11. And I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to cut the bottom. So here, this should be thickness. Enter, tab, and this should be like a 0.4-ish. That looks fine. I'll do that. And then create a rectangular pattern. Click on all 3 of these. And then, nah, that's too many. I want to be wider than that. And then I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to extrude this one. Oh, extrude this one, and this one. Tip it so I can push it through. So go all the way, and then click OK. That one's now done. Done, done, and done. And we're getting close now. I feel it. Another 12.5 hours, and we'll be done with this. So let's see. Does that look so weird? Okay, so now your computer might be running kind of slow because mine's starting to slow down a little bit from all the joints that are cut in. So this one's done. It's got left and bottom done. This one over here on this wall, this one's done. It's got left and bottom done. This one has the left done. Those 2 middle holes there done. And it just needs, yep, it just needs the bottom cut on this one. So that should be pretty easy. So I'm going to create a sketch here. This is wall 13. I'm going to turn off everything except 13. I'm going to create just on the bottom. Oop, did it in the wrong place. Escape to get out of the tool. Do it right along here at the bottom. That one should be thickness. And this one I'm going to do is 1.1 centimeters. And then just a random number. And then create a rectangular pattern. I don't know why I can't select right now. There, there, and there. I'm going to back out so I can see everything. Drag it over. Zoom in so I can get a really good connection. That's close enough. I'm happy with that. I'm going to zoom back out so I can see what's going on. Now I'm just going to up the number until it looks like something reasonable. Right about there looks good. What does one more look like? Not too much. I like 8. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. I'm going to extrude this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Oop, missed one. Push them through and say just go all the way, and they click OK. Done. That wall is done. I think we only have 2 walls, 2 little bitty walls left. Yeah. So the hard part is going to be to go through and make sure that everything got cut properly, and you haven't forgotten anything. So this wall and this wall is all I have left. This wall is wall 14, and this one I'm going to cut the left and the bottom on. Turn everybody off but wall 14. All right, and I'm going to zoom in here. So I have my sketch ready. And I'm going to do just the left and bottom here to remind myself. This should be 0.25. This should be thickness. Enter, and then another one here. This should be 0.5 and thickness there. Enter. And then another one. One more. We're getting so close. I'm getting a little slap happy. 0.25 and thickness. There. I'm starting to feel silly now. And I'm going to dimension this from here to here. Should be 0.5. And then from here to there should also be 0.5. And then I'm ready to extrude because I'm not mirroring this one. So I don't need a hole on the other side. Push it through. Choose all, cut. Okay. Now we have the joint there and we need the bottom still. So here, back to this. I'm going to take a rectangle tool, come up here and put it at 0.5 that way and thickness this way. Enter. And I'm going to create a rectangular pattern using these 3 sides. Oops, nope, drag it over. That's too big for my taste, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit to try and get it. Oh, there it is, just right. And that looks pretty good. I'm very happy with that. So I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to extrude this. That one, that one, that one. Pull it out the back. Say go all the way through. Click OK. Oh my gosh, we are so close now. I think we have one more wall to go. I gotta figure out if there's a way to do this easily, like turn them all on and turn them all off kind of a thing instead of clicking on each one. What a nuisance that's been. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the home button, go back. So I gotta figure out where I was now. Okay, so I was here. I did the bottom and right side of that one. And then this one I need to do, I'm gonna use the combine tool to cut this side here and then just do a bottom joint. So combine. I want to cut this one using that one. Okay. And I just cut that joint, so I just gonna do the bottom now. So I'm gonna click here, and this is wall number 15. I'm gonna turn everybody off but 15. Okay. Now I'm gonna zoom in, just cut the bottom real quick. So here to here. And this time I'm gonna do like, I don't know, 0.3. Yeah, I can live with 0.3. 0.3 there, and then tab. This one's got to be thickness. Enter. And now I'm going to do a rectangular pattern. 1, 2, 3. Drag them this way. Zoom in a little bit. Get it a little bit closer than that. That looks good. And then I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do 4. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to cut out all these little ones. Whoops, extrude all the little ones out. Cut all the way through. Okay, and there it is. Now I'm going to turn them all back on. Home. Now what you should do is go through each wall individually. Click on wall 1. Look at it and say, okay, all 3 sides are cut. And here I can't tell if the holes are cut. So maybe clicking on the wall is not the best way to do it. But here I can see, I zoom, actually let me try that. Wall 1 when I zoom in. Now wall 1 doesn't show it like it should show this. It does when you hover over it, I guess. Now go to wall 2, hover over it, and you can see all 3 sides are cut there. Wall 3, all 3 sides are cut. Wall 4, at least this way you're not missing any of them. Wall 5, and if I hover over, I can see, yep, the 4 holes are there, the 2 sides there. Wall 6, just go through each one, making sure they're all good. Bottom, right side's good. Wall 9, side, bottom is all good. Side, bottom, no side, good. Bottom side, flat side, good. Side, bottom, that looks good. Okay, so I can see the holes in it. I can see the bottom and the right side all looks good. And 14, bottom and side, 15. Oh, awesome. That means, oh, 8, wall 8, wall 8. Don't forget wall 8. Right there. Yep, I can see the 2 holes there and the bottom. All good. Okay, so that's it. The walls are done. It's an 1 and 7-minute video. Hopefully you did your own and didn't watch my whole video, although maybe it would be fine if you did. I don't know. Tomorrow what we'll do is I'll upload a video showing you how to add the exterior walls, cut joints into the base here, and cut all the holes for all these slots, all these little tabs to go into, and we'll do all of that in the next video. Thanks everybody. Have a great day.